good afternoon. It's late afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Women and Digital Inclusion candid chats around the cost of living crisis and how we can overcome and even thrive in spite of the circumstances happening globally, especially in the UK. Today, Women and Digital Inclusion is excited to host our facilitator. And before I talk about our facilitator, allow me to share with you a little bit about Women and Digital Inclusion, also known as Wodin. Wodin is a voluntary, volunteer-led organization based right in Merseyside, and our mission is ending digital inequities and social inequities amongst the Black communities and people of color, ethnically diverse communities here in Merseyside. And with that, we run various projects across the board because our aim is to support the Black woman in any way we can, whatever that looks like, Black woman. Sometimes that means going as wide as covering subsistence needs. It could go as far as covering, offering digital devices, offering data devices. Currently, we are running 2 programs, and we are offering Black women based in Merseyside a SIM card, free SIM card, preloaded with data, 20 gigs of data, preloaded with unlimited calls and unlimited texts across the board, initially for 6 months, for up to 2 years. So if you are struggling with, if one of the things you're struggling with is data, internet, please do reach out to our project admin assistant, Ms. Rachel Barbara. Her icon is the purple R, and she will let you know what criteria we need for you to receive a free data SIM card of either Vodafone or O2. We also run what we call the Utopian Meals, now expanded into East Park 2, cultural ethnic food parcels. We don't run a food bank. We source the foods, and we try to ensure that various Black minoritized families receive a parcel. Sometimes we may ask you to pick it up yourself, but oftentimes, depending on how far a volunteer lives from your address, we might deliver physically to your address. So today I'm very excited, very, very excited to see you all here today and to introduce our facilitator for the day. This is my sister from another papa. This is my mentor and coach, my inspirator. She is a woman of substance. She's a woman of valor. She is passionate about supporting the Black family, the Black woman in all her form in the northwest of the UK. She's very passionate about ending inequities, socio-economic, and all that entails within the Black community, especially for Black women in the area of Greater Manchester. I am super excited and so humbled to have the amazing Mrs. Rose Ssali, the Chief Executive Officer of Support for Action and Women's Network, a powerful organization based here in the Northwest. And if you don't know Rose today, make sure you connect with her before the end of this session. So I am going to just very quickly ask you to check in. Anyone who would like to check in and just share with us one thing that you feel great about today. Not yesterday, not last week, today. If anyone want to share with us, we're very excited. Please do go ahead, raise your hand, and Rachel will let you know to go ahead and let us know what it is that excites you today, and then we will welcome our facilitator and our mentor for the day, Mrs. Rose Ssali, who's gonna share with us how we can build resilience during tough times and even thrive, So let me just start with, I'm excited about having Rose Ssali be here with us today, holding this space for us, sharing with us her experience. We are going to feed from her wellspring of wisdom. And I, for one, I'm always excited to just feel myself from her wellspring of wisdom. So that's exciting for me today. I don't know about anybody else, but we can go ahead and share with each other what we are excited about today. Juliet, please go ahead. Go right ahead.
Hello, everybody. I'm also excited to be here today. I'm all ears to take in the knowledge that our facilitator is going to give us today.
Anyone else? Thank you, Juliet. Thank you, Juliet, for sharing with us. We are kindred spirits because we're excited about the same stuff. I was talking with myself muted.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Patty.
Here, I'm so super excited as well for just being here, just thanking the Lord that today I'm okay, I'm well, I'm fit, I'm sound, and I'm keeping warm. And I'm so super excited to listen to our dear sister Rose. I've listened to her many times. I've seen her, I've dealt with her, and I'm so excited to hear what she's going to bring to us today. And thanks, Julie, for organizing this because we are really in need of this information, and it's going to be useful to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Patty. I'm excited too. Excited, getting excited. Rose herself has her hand up.
Hi, Julia. That's better. So,
awesome.
I'm gonna begin by apologizing that I am on the way home. So, for the first few minutes, it's just going to be my picture, and I'm not being rude, so I couldn't hear before. So, thank you so much for the opportunity, Julie and Wodin. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes.
Yeah. So, because this is about resilience. I liked what you did about the check-in, but I would love us each person to check in with what is that positive thing that has happened today from all the issues that have happened to you today. If we can go around, how many are we? Oh, we have 30 people, about 30 people. Just maybe 1 minute, somebody to say something that's positive that's happened to them today.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
I've got
So because you can, Julie, because you can see the screen better, could you please just facilitate that bit for me?
Yes.
Just 1 minute, because we need to start from that point.
Let's start with 30 seconds because we've got 30 people. 1 minute would be 30 minutes.
Okay, yeah. 30 seconds.
And the number is growing. So 30 seconds. Yeah. Carl N is my immediate, right, immediately next to my right. Carl N. 2. And if Carl N cannot say something, can we have Yatunde saying something? Oh, preparing. Okay, Yatunde is preparing live stream. Okay, I'm just gonna go randomly pick on Francis Langley.
Yeah, and those who can't share, they can put it in the chat. Just one nice thing in the chat, and doesn't matter how small.
Can we unmute everybody? Because maybe some people are muted.
Yes, please.
Francis Langley, do you want to say something?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know if you can hear me or not. What's been good today? My goodness, I don't even know where to start. I think I can actually say that I've been able to wake up this morning without having no bad news from anywhere. And I work for a housing, and I was fortunate to meet someone today from Guinea who is from a neighboring country.
Oh, wow.
And in my other job role, and I went to his house and he was cooking okra soup, and I was so hungry smelling that it made me feel, I was happy to actually see someone that I can relate to. And to top it all, I sat there, and I don't normally do this, but we ate together, which was a blessing. And he's now my new friend. So today I made a new friend, and I was able to advise him about damp and molds and how to make sure that he keep his property clean, because he had so much mold in the property, and it was his fault though. So I've been able to help someone today. When I mean it was his fault, the house was too hot and he wasn't opening the windows. So I was able to tell him what to do and how to set his temperature controls and his radiators and everything else. And I walked away feeling really good, and I came home and he texted me to say he's happy to meet me. So that's been a very blessed day for me today. And I had okra soup as well. So it's a good day.
Thank you, Francis. But I think the next person, let's just keep it quick and just one thing, yeah?
All right. Abiola's phone. You're right next to Francis. Abiola.
Yeah.
Good.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Abiola.
Okay, let me start with my Saturday. It was so good. I was so happy to see that. I got the package. Yeah, Mr. Francis, came by to the house and then sent me some stuff, gave me some package like food stuff, and then I was so surprised. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, today I've been at work, so been working. I went out with the client and we had a long day, but it was fun as well. We had to see so many places in the Liverpool city center. So that was it. And I thank God for making me alive today. No bad news from anywhere. And so fine.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Abiola. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have great Adetutu Adebayo. Adetutu Adebayo, can you say something? And while we're waiting for Adetutu, can Grace Taiwo prepare your exciting news today? And we can keep it rolling. And if those two are not able, can we hear from Sham Sham?
Hi, Phil.
Hi, Sham.
I'm driving actually. I'm out of Liverpool, but I'm following everything. That's why I'm on mute. So I can't really talk that much. But I'm on the Zoom and I'm following everything.
Okay, thank you, Sham. Thank you. And Carl N says, I'm grateful for my life right now. Can't say much as I'm with baby. Thank you. Thank you, Carl N, for sharing that. Itoro is at work, so she can't unmute. But we thank God for your presence on here. Can we hear from Joe? And can Gladys get ready to share with us what's exciting for you today? Sylvia B, namesake. I think people are shy right now, Rosie. They'll get into the swing as we go along. I'm gonna ask Munyaka to share with us what's exciting for you today.
Greetings, everyone. I learned
Hi.
something today. I learned something that really touched me. I was reading a book and I learned that a goal that you can fulfill by yourself is too small for you. A bigger goal, you need others. And it opened my eyes.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. Yeah, that's big. Yeah. Yeah. That is deep. Let me look at Aziza. Would you like to share? So Rosie, I think at the moment we're gonna hear from Rachel, and then we'll come right back to you, Rosemary. If you want to say something, Jamina, unmute yourself. But let's hear from Rachel, and then we are so excited to have you with us here, Rose. Rachel.
Hello, everyone. I'm not going to turn on my camera, but I am grateful for life, and I'm grateful for everyone who is here. Some of you have already replied to our emails, sent in your reviews. So thank you very much. We are also grateful for that as Wodin. And hopefully we continue getting more and more reviews from you people. And yes, I'm also thankful for this Zoom today. I'm hoping to learn a lot, and I cannot wait to learn a lot.
Me too.
Thank you.
Awesome. And SAWN, would you like to close the checking in? Are you live, SAWN? Right. Let's get straight to our facilitator for the day, because I'm so excited to just receive. So I'm just gonna end the checking in right now. We have over 32 people. We've had from half of them. There are several people in the chat saying, I'm grateful for life, my family, and for this big family too. I'm excited to hear from Rose. I'm grateful for the gift of life and my family, from Sylvia B. I'm grateful for God's mercy over me and my family, from Yetunde. Itoro said she's at work. And so, yeah, several people have shared in the chat, Rosemary, and I think everyone's just too excited to hear from you. So without further ado, let us be upstanding or just clap and show some love to our facilitator, the CEO of Support for Action and Women's Network in Greater Manchester, Mrs. Rose. Over to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Julie. I hope everybody can hear. Yeah. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so you'll see me in a bit. But thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you much for that wonderful intro, and everybody for tuning in, for joining today. And for Wodin, because I've watched Wodin grow from a baby, from a seed, and now you are doing big things. So just my gratitude, your team, your volunteers, and the community of Liverpool, and everybody who is sowing into Wodin. So we are going to talk about a little bit of how are we doing and how can we manage in these hard times. But first of all, I just want to say the where I'm standing, life is always hard, but it is what we make it, how we overcome challenges, how do we identify. And I really, really like what Langton has said about goals and how what you achieve alone is small, but what you achieve with other people makes life greater. So on the topic of resilience, I hear that word a lot, thrown around a lot, and it sounds like something that's very empowering. Oh, we have to be resilient. Oh, resilient Black people. Oh, resilience and resilient that. And from, that the dictionary meaning is the power to bounce back, for example, the power to thrive, to bounce back from whatever. And, like for me, I think of an elastic band when you pull it and it goes back, you pull it and it goes back. But that's not how life works. That's not how things work, especially for us, because majority of us, when I say us, I mean majority of us who come from elsewhere. So when we pull on that elastic band, and things don't come back, when we pull on things and they don't do what we want to do, sometimes it's time for us to have an honest conversation. So today, like Julie wisely put this session together, we are going to be talking about how to build resilience in hard times. We are in hard times. I believe we're in hard times, both in the physical, emotionally. But that's how things have always been. We got to pick on what have our forefathers in their time. What did they use? How did they become resilient? How do we become resilient? And we're going to some of the issues that might need our resilience or where we need to be resilient. So some of the issues and the challenges, which I believe affect almost all of us in one way or another. One of them is the economic situation. So where we come from, and I mean us who are mostly from elsewhere, when you come to this country, things are hard. Things are very hard economically. It might be very hard to get a job. And sometimes when you get that job, it might not be your career path, what you had, or what you wanted to do. So things just become hard and harder and harder. But what do we do? What do you do when you're working? Or what do you think when you're in that place where you didn't even envision yourself to be? For example, many of us where we come from, personally, I'd never thought of working at night. In my whole life, I come from Uganda. I didn't know one person except from health, like doctors and nurses. I didn't know anybody who works at night. And I was that ignorant. To come here, that's when you realize that you have to work day or night or wherever. So all those changes bring about a lot of issues in our own personal lives, and we find it very, very hard, very, very hard to cope and to adjust. And then careers, for example, her story. Every time I listen to your story, Julie, you are a lawyer, but I don't think you've ever practiced in the UK. I don't know, you could correct me. I don't know if you practiced in the UK, but all that had to be put on. Yes. Yeah. Now, what happens to your dreams? What happens to what you wanted to do originally? And So it's such things that economically, the jobs that we are doing, very, very humbling jobs, very, very humbling jobs. And some of them can even lead you to, mental health issues. But you have to find the money to live. You have to find a way of doing what you need to do. And then, so we're going to talk more in detail about that. And then there is health challenges, health issues. On a personal note, I've had a lot of health challenges. In fact, on Monday, I had an operation, last Monday gone, and I have to do what I have to do. And I have to be strong because I have to be where I need to be. So how do we support? How do we address the issues that we're going through? How do we create that support for ourselves and for other people? So that is another area as well that we need to see what sort of resilience we need to create for ourselves. I'm sure as well, again, even Julie herself had, she supported me in so many ways around that. Then there's another one, the big, which I think is the source of all our issues. There's the immigration challenges. I think everybody from elsewhere, in whichever form or way, has had immigration challenge. Majority of us, very few of us work with the papers, as they're so called. Very, very few of us work with papers. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a big story about how they ended up in this country, what they have done to get where they are, the stories we've told, the issues we've been through, because that is how it is. And while you're waiting, it's a very hard time. While you're waiting for the papers to come through, what are you doing? What are we doing with our hands? And with our brains and everything, while you're waiting for immigration? And the impact it has on the family, the impact it has on your dreams, the impact it has. I know people who've got their stay after 15 years. I know somebody who's got their stay after 20 years. Her children, she's had grandchildren, and it's only after 22 years that she got her stay. So in that time, is your resilience, is that elastic going up and down? What do you do when you have such a big weight? What do you do when you get bad news? And then there's the issue of Africa. I call it Africa because when you're here, unfortunately, the people in Africa, our relatives, our families, they think we have a lot of money. They think life is very easy here. And on one part, we have created it because there are some people who go back and splash car. They've got it. There are others who go back and say, no, I must have a good time. And the others who have built, houses and had investment there. So unfortunately, when things are not working well for you here, your family over there thinks, oh, why are you not like so-and-so's son? Why not like so-and-so's daughter who is doing ABC? So all that. So while you're having all that from your loved ones and you're really, really struggling, you need to support yourself. How are you coping? How are we dealing with that? Then the other issue that I think is important for us to talk about, because parenting is very, very difficult. You can only parent the mode of the state of mind you're in. Because if you're going through immigration, if you're going through poor health, if you're isolated, if you have no money, you're living in poverty, your children still need you. But what capacity have you got to parent? How are you parenting? How can you even be a parent when you're telling your child you must perform well in school, because if you don't, what sort of life will you have? And your child is looking at you. You're an asylum seeker. You're living in a moldy house. You don't have a voice. So who are you to tell your child, or how do you tell your child that if they stay in school, if whatever happens, because you've come here with our degrees, which don't take you nowhere really. Or if you're an asylum seeker, you can't even do whatever your qualifications. So how do we tell our children, how do you be a parent in such circumstances, especially when your children start understanding the circumstances and how limiting they are to you as their parent. Then the other issue that I think is very important, relationships, there's a lot of, so all those issues affect and impact on your relationship with your spouse and how you deal with things. So imagine a situation where you are both working and now one of you can't work, or you're both asylum seekers, you just sat in the house. It will have an impact on your relationship. And then if one of you gets, a job, or one of us, and you're in a situation that has different cultural backgrounds, you are stuck in a little house, and the weather and everything, it is bound to impact on your relationship. So how do we deal with all of these things? How do we try and think of ways of how we can try and bounce back? Because when we are in situations like this, things don't just happen in a vacuum. They happen alongside, all these situations. So I'm going to ask Julie for us to open up a chat, because I was just introducing them. So there's the economic situation, health, Africa, parenting, and relationships. So I don't know if Julie is going to be able to put us in breakout rooms. And what I'd like us to talk about in those breakout rooms is that choose a topic that you have managed as a person to overcome, or that you think is really important to yourself and yours. What you think you need to contribute to. So in those breakout rooms, would like for us how you think you overcame, but only share what you don't mind us knowing. So it's not a confidential space, because we don't know each other. We are on Zoom. Other people are not putting on their cameras. So just please share generically, because it's not a safe space to share your personal issues. So Julie,
can you tell me the topics again? Health, economic?
Economic. So economic, we are going to talk about, I would like people to talk about.
Rosie, you've gone mute.
It says you're supporting people. So how did you come from that place to the place you're in now? And then
so we have health, economic,
health. Yes. So health, immigration. How do you then in Africa? I've said Africa, but the pool in Africa. How do you deal with your relatives? How do you deal with your? Because some people have done bad investments, others have just been misled. So how do you deal with Africa? And then we have
health, economic, immigration / relatives, right? I'm trying to get
relationships. But like I said, those topics. If you can please put us, and in every room, let's have somebody scribing, and that will be the same person to share when we get back together.
Oh, right. Hang on. Let me get everybody into a breakout room. There will be 4 breakout rooms.
Yeah.
So there'll be 8 people per room. And I'm just gonna start create 4 breakout rooms. Assign automatically. Okay. Right. So I've created breakout rooms, right? Each one has been assigned, each one of you has been assigned a room automatically. And Rose, you're in room 3. So there is an unfair advantage over there. And
Hi, Julie, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Now I can.
Right, you're in room 3. Rachel, you are in room 4. We have, I'm looking at the various people that can be the kind of the facilitators of each room. Langston, you're in room 1. And in room 2, we have Juliet Naseju. Can you be the facilitator of all rooms? I'm going to open all the rooms, and you're now each going to your room. Right, so in your rooms, I've sent you the topics: health, economic, immigration, relationships versus homeland relatives. How have you navigated these areas in your life in the UK. And feel free to share as little or as much as you want, because this is supposed to be, it's supposed to be a safe space, but like Rosemary has said, we have a lot of people.
Yeah, so, oh, there's my twin.
I know.
Hello. I've been trying to get home.
From Cape Verde. How are you?
I'm all right. Much better for seeing everybody. And you?
Yeah.
Welcome, Carol. Welcome.
So now we have an hour, and in that
Yes.
1 hour, I would
Yes.
like us to use the first 30 minutes, if we can work within them, for feedback. How many groups did we have?
We had 4 groups.
Okay, so how many?
We had Langton, Rosemary, yourself, and Rachel in the 4 different rooms. So
Okay.
hopefully either you have chosen someone else to feedback or you're feeding back yourselves.
No, we've chosen Mr. Mitchell is feeding back.
Right, Mr. Mitchell, would you like to feed back from room 3? Random.
Yeah. So if we have at least 5 minutes to feedback and contributions from other people, in case we've missed out something.
Right.
And then, yeah.
Okay, sorry. Right, yeah. Well, we spoke about the economic situation, the impact on us as, maybe I can safely say, immigrants. Yeah, so we talked about I think most of us shared this wrong perception of the life in the UK before we came here. And we had these dreams about a soft life where we can just pluck money off the trees and things just flow. But like rightfully said, one of our honorable member said that she realized that it was only a dream, which is not true. When at the moment she landed at Gatwick Airport, so that's how harsh the economic situation can shock you as soon as you arrive in the country. So we thought one of us mentioned that she couldn't meet the family demands from back in Africa when she was here, and to a point that it actually soured the relationship with some of her family members, because what they expected and what she could afford them wasn't matching up, and they couldn't understand it. And obviously, I personally know people who are not even talking for over a decade now because of that. And time again teaches one, to win off that kind of entitled behavior from some of our relatives back home, especially. You just put the boundaries and manage the finances so that you don't take so much unnecessary pressure from their demands, because most of them would never understand what you go through. And we mentioned the issue of the immigration status as well. It does really affect, have a huge impact on, actually it's a game changer, really, because it can either restrict or increase one's cash, making of cash in the country. Because like when you're an asylum seeker, there's not much you can do. You just have to wait, and there's no waiting time. It's stressful. It's so depressing, because everybody was going through this situation. Even people who just applied for visas, other visas, that the immigration can be that, like they can just dump you there and not even replying your letters or taking phone calls. So it's so stressful. It's everything in one. So, but when one is actually blessed along in that channel, it actually opens a lot of opportunities. And personal development as well. It tackles a lot of economic problems amongst people when they are in this country. Like, for example, you can do some trainings, and you increase your demand on the market, and obviously that you are rewarded more than before. And some people like myself, I ended up seeking help from my close circle of friends and family, or even other organizations, and it really helped me. So yeah, that's all I took down for the group.
Oh, thank you so much, Mitchell. That's more than enough.
Okay,
would anybody like to add on to our whatever discussion? Something that you think? Anybody from any other group? And if not, I don't know, group number 1.
Group number 1, that's me, Langton, and my group. We discussed, we touched a lot on immigration. It seems as though it's affecting a lot of people, and it's really stretching people, especially on the time frame that people have to wait for papers, receiving very little and trying to make ends meet, which is very difficult, especially with the anticipation. And someone said in my group, my kids, they give me hope. Because they don't go back. Going back is not an option. And someone says, you know, in this country, you need to exercise patience because you cannot push them. Whether you are in your state, you can't push anyone. You have to wait like everybody else. And that's difficult. Because our circumstances are different. Some people don't have family to support them here. Some people are yet to make friends to support them here. Some people don't even speak English. They don't. But yet, we're all waiting in the queue. We're all filling those papers that you think, what's this word? I don't even know how to pronounce this word. So we talked about that. And we realized that for someone probably to keep going, you need to adapt to certain changes. You need to tell yourself that things have changed. And I have to accept that things have changed. My way of doing things are no longer the way to do things here. So you need to have that mind frame to say, you know what, I need to learn. Mindset. And be intentional as well. Be intentional. Don't try this and that, and be intentional with your things. And we also mentioned being connected, joining groups. It helps a lot. Like we are here, creating a family of people who can help you. It takes a lot of heat off yourself. Because believe me not, there's always someone who is ready to help you if you seek for help. They say, you never know till you have tried. And if you keep quiet, no one will guess that you want something. Best way, say it. Go around and say, you know what, I need help. Somebody will help you. Will help you. Take care of your body and yourself and your mind. There's nothing as good and better as that. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your kids. You can't take care of anything else. We are as good as our health allows us. If we are healthy and well, look after ourselves, guess what? We can achieve our dreams. That's what we were talking about in my group. That's the thing. They say, you know what? These are the things that makes us go. Probably these are the things that we want to do or we should do for us to keep ourselves with the mojo to go on, to keep pushing.
Oh, thank you very much, Langton. Thank you so much. And, you know, because we're going to talk about later on, how do you gain resilience? So thank you very much. Group 2, please.
Group 2 had Rosemary, or was that the one with Rachel? Group 2,
my
you
group,
speak for you. Go on, Rachel. Sorry for interrupting.
no, I actually wanted to mention that my group was group 4, non-group 2.
I thought it was group 4.
I think I was in group 2, and my name is Rachel as well.
Okay.
And I'm joining you from Colchester.
Wow.
The link was sent off by one of my friends called, I think I found it in one of the groups.
Wow. Welcome from Colchester. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, in our group, I think only 2 people were talking, and I don't know who else was in the background because there's nobody showing their face. So anyway, we spoke about association. Who do you associate yourself with? Do you have friends?
I think I was the second person. Sorry.
Yeah. So who do you associate yourself with? Do you have friends? Do you have family? Do you speak to your neighbors? Because what tends to happen is that some of us, when we come here,
we're just trying to keep in our own circles, and you don't even know who your next door neighbor is. But you also forget that if you are in trouble, the next person next door is the person you should knock the door at before you look for your relatives wherever they are. So associations are very important, especially when you need to be resilient. So we also talked about seeking for help. Because at times it's the culture here is that if you don't ask, you don't get. So at times we are struggling with a situation, but we have not asked for help. So just being confident and not being shy to help, to ask for help, it can take you, maybe the next person you ask is a person who has your help. So asking is very important. Yeah. Okay. Being positive and looking for options. Not sticking to that problem, but looking for other options that will get you out of the situation. The other thing we spoke about is expectations from people, probably from back home, because there will be demand that I need this, I need the other, and you're not being transparent enough to say, I cannot provide. So are you being truthful to your families back home? Are you being brave enough to tell them, I don't have this, I don't have? Because at times they leave us with nothing. So you're working so hard, being left with the problem, and you're sending them everything, and they're living that luxury that you should be giving yourself or your children. So are we being transparent?
Thank you very much, Rachel.
Yeah.
And we now have we've had from group 3, group 2, group 1. Is that group 1?
This was group 2.
Group 2. So we need to hear from group. Who
from
hasn't
the other
spoken?
Rachel.
From the other Rachel. Oh, okay.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you so much for that. That was quite insightful, actually.
Hello.
Hi.
So my group, the challenges that we talked about, I feel like we are going to repeat ourselves, but I'll talk about them still. We talked about immigration. We also talked about our mental health as Black people. Then we talked about our relationships with people home and yes. So with immigration, one of us mentioned about like, even when your immigration status has been sorted, sometimes they give you that option of renewing after 2 years. And she said that it can be stressing because every 2 years you have to come up with the finances to take back your documents and renew them. And you don't know what is going to come out of that. And sometimes the Home Office takes long to reply you. So it can be psychologically stressing and mentally stressing. And another person also, regards the immigration, also mentioned something still about having to take back your documents and renew them. And the advice that they were giving is that someone has to be ready always. You have to have the right documentation to take back your things in time and submit on time so that you reduce the stress. But also regards that, someone else came in and mentioned that sometimes even when you do everything on time, still they will take long to reply you. So then I remember someone from another group mentioned that you have to have patience when it comes to anything with immigration. Otherwise, you can just run crazy. Because even when you have everything on time, sometimes they just take long to reply you. And someone talked about our mental health as Black people, because we are not as open as other people are about our mental health challenges. And so sometimes it's hard to open up to other people, and yet we need the support. So we need to support each other. And he also talked about reading a lot of information, because sometimes we do not read, and then even sometimes the people that we consult, for example, lawyers, might not be helpful. So it's really important for us to read and understand how the system works for ourselves instead of always seeking help, because even sometimes the person that you seek help from might not be really helpful. So then reading and understanding things by ourselves. And we also talked about the relationships that we have with people back home. This has been also talked about by other groups, expectations from people back home and being entitled to your money. And then sometimes you cannot even help. So you find that those relationships actually break. And someone was mentioning that we always have a choice. You know, you can say no. Because at the end of the day, you have to look after yourself and your family, because those are the people that are going to have your back at the end of the day. Instead of, I think the Rachel, who has talked previously, talked about like looking after the people back home, and they're in a comfortable life while you're here stressing, and you cannot look after your own self and your family here. So someone mentioned that you always have a choice. You can say no to them. And because your immediate family at the end of the day are the ones that are going to have your back. I think those are the things that we talked about. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, Rachel and Rachel. And I think we had 4 groups. Is that
Yes.
it, Julie?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, so thank you so much, everyone, for sharing and participating and revisiting, because I know some of these issues we're not comfortable talking about them. And in one way or another, we've all been impacted by 1 or 2 or 3 or all these issues. And the most important thing is, I don't like the word resilience, because before you become resilient, personally, I think you must come to a point whereby you brace yourself and accept the situation. And what I think one group said, you must have patience, is coming to the realization that, I'm here, and I'm here. I can't go back. I have to accept where I'm at. For me, I think it's beginning with the acceptance. And at that point, you can cry, you can shout, you can do whatever you do, but it's the point of accepting that this is where I'm at. If it is a health issue, realizing that, okay, I've got this illness, so I must deal with it. Nobody else. So in everything that we've shared, there is you. Not your partner, not your child, it is you. Yes. So the way you deal with the situation determines how others or everything. So you create the environment which sets that resilience, also called resilience. But it is you. How am I dealing with this situation? Am I going to run away? Am I going to bury it? Am I going to face it as it is? Am I going to share it? What am I going to do with it? Am I going to be optimistic? So for me personally, what works for me, everybody who knows me knows, I have plan A to Z. So I go through the whole alphabet. Something somewhere has to work. Somewhere from A to Z. And it's not in the order, the alphabetical order. So I can be Z to B, J to Y. I can jump from whichever. But one thing I do not do, and one thing that I encourage people not to do is ignore your problem or ignore your issue. So I run a charity. For those of you who don't know me, I run a small charity, small but mighty charity, women's charity, based in Oldham. And one of the reasons that I created that charity is because when I first came here, I've been sharing with people in my group that when I came to this country, I thought everything is going to be as I see it on TV, in the movies. And I thought, oh my God, what a lovely country, what lovely people. And then people are nice, but there are also systems that stop you engaging and stop you from being with people. So you find yourself isolated. The money you thought you're going to make, the savings you planned even before you earn a penny, things are different. So for me, it's that accepting that, okay, things are not as I thought they are. What do I do next? So for me, my response was, let me get with people who are going through a similar situation for 2 things. 1, to learn from them. How have you coped being in this country? Who are you talking to? What benefit have you found? So apart from embracing the change, so first of all, accept what has happened, that, okay, I'm here now. Then 2, I'm going to embrace this change. So from your A to Z, all them plans, 26 plans, I'll find one that will work. And even if the rest of my life is trying, I don't care, I'll keep trying. So long as I'm trying to change a situation. And then also, you've got to believe in yourself. So you forget the person you were, which is very traumatic. If you're an asylum seeker or a refugee, your career, your relationships have broken, but whatever goes on in your life, we have to embrace it and say, okay, this has changed. What I need to have, accept it and change it. And the best person to do that is you. Somebody mentioned here about some of these immigration situations. You run to another person. They're not home office. Go to Google, read about things yourself. If you can't read, that's something else. But if you can read, why take it to somebody else? They will tell you exactly what you need to do. And if you don't understand it, then that's when you go to another person. But many times people start from somebody else. I know so many people whose immigration has been messed up because they asked somebody else and didn't read it themselves. Then also, the most important thing I also think is just nurture yourself, love yourself, whoever you are, whatever you can do, look after yourself as best as you can. Because if you don't look after yourself, you can't be a good parent, you can't be a good husband, you can't be a good wife, you can't be a good friend, you can't be a good worker, you can't be a good volunteer, you can't do nothing if you don't love and nurture yourself. And find time to think about you. And this goes to all of us. Very, very hard in the situation where our families are far and we have to rely on each other. But think of all those things and how you can be and do them. Then we have found as well in this country, you have to quickly learn how to resolve problems. Quickly, you have to resolve problems. I hear of stories because of the nature of our work. A woman who was a friend visited in Africa and said to her, oh, you can come, to England, come with me. So she sold what little stuff she had, packed in her job and came here. When she went to the airport where that friend was supposed to pick her up in Heathrow, they had switched off their phone. So she stayed at the airport, but now she's a chef. She has, if you see her now, you wouldn't know what's behind. So a family took, an African family, a man who works at the airport, took her home and told his wife, I've just found this woman. They supported her. Then from there, she started doing this, doing that. And now she runs her own business. She has her own life. And, she is doing so many things. But it is if you meet her now, you wouldn't know all those things. And the only question you'd ask is, how did you even manage to do that? So for me to gain resilience, we have to do, so many changes, including that. But also be positive. Be positive. And when I say positive, is think of the good things. That's why when we're starting our check-in, it was what positive things have happened to you today. Now, for me today, I woke up to the news of a friend who has lost her only child. And to be honest, I don't even know I'm numb. Just one child and she's lost her. How do you talk to such a parent? How do you what words do you use for such a person? But it has happened. She's going to bury her child and life has to go on, which is very, very difficult. I can't even imagine what she's going to do. But how do we support such a person to stay positive? So if you have beliefs, some of us who believe in God, it's the only thing you can do. Just leave her in the hands of God and try to support what you can do humanly. Like, what does she need? The practical. A bit like Martha and Mary in the Bible. Both of them one was looking after the aspect of the physical. The other was looking after the word, feeding both. So for me, I think that is what we need to be doing. To be resilient, we have to be able to draw from the positive. What can we do? How can we remain positive despite it all? Then somebody here, I think most of you have mentioned relationships. Keep away from negative people. Anybody who draws negative energy in whichever way, run. Just run from them. Hang around people who are positive, people who see good in you, people who can support you, and people who can be honest with you and say, you know what, Rose, I think you didn't do this right, but you can do that. Those are the only people I want around me. Speaking for myself, no negative people, no negative energy. And if you can master that, if somebody is bringing negative energy, if somebody is complaining about things, just like the weather, it is cold. But so what? We're all cold. You know, just warm up yourself. But if you're going to say, oh my God, what do you want me to do? Just warm up yourself, have a cup of tea, and let's get on with things. So for us in SAWN and all places, we are creating that positive energy, despite all the hardships that we have, despite what's happening. So when we tell people to be resilient, it doesn't mean, oh, like this lady who's just lost her child, oh, come on, bounce back. No, deal with it. Deal with the grief. Deal with it. Because if you don't deal with it, then there's nothing to draw on from. And then also just look for something that gives you satisfaction. So if you are a lawyer, like Sylvia, I keep going back to you. So if you are a lawyer, look at what you're doing now. You're still advocating for people. You're still advocating for people. You're still using that knowledge. Your training was not in vain because you're using it in other areas. Let's try and look for other spaces where we can use our knowledge, where we can use what we've gained to be a bit more resilient. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that we need to talk about is being realistic in what you can achieve. So for us to be resilient, because it's bouncing back. If you set yourself, if you jump too high, you might, if you're trying to jump, for example, certain height, you might fall and break your leg. So think how high you go. It is good to try and achieve, to set yourself goals, but be realistic. Don't set your goals too high because you only upset yourself. And if you have positive people around you, community, organizations like Wodin, you know, I've met the women I've met in Wodin. It is such a happy place to be. Every time I go to Liverpool, I look forward to seeing Rosemary and all the other ladies, Sarah, Sylvia, Justine, and everybody else that I've met is you know, and Shamim and everybody, just the positivity, just because everybody is fighting something. Everybody is fighting. But what do? We are positive. We try, same as, you know, Karen is here. What do we do in SAWN? How do we deal with things? So it's just gaining that positive mindset of I will overcome. And then the other thing I want to say, which I think is very, very important. Remember when you meet a friend who you haven't seen in ages, says you haven't seen somebody for a year or two. And then, especially when you're still young and you've just left school, just imagine, and you meet somebody after school, and then you say to them, oh, you heard that they got married. Oh my God, have you got children? Which people shouldn't be asking anyway. But that's the first thing that people ask. Oh my God, have you got children? Because some people don't want children, others are trying and they can't get children. So, but people ask anyway. How you answer that question, I think you should reflect. If somebody's been battling something and they've dealt with it, you yourself, by just saying it back to yourself, is the way you've dealt with it. Oh, well, I got married. He wasn't the one. We've had a divorce. He's doing his own thing. I'm doing my own thing. I'm here. So for me, that's the ultimate resilience of I've bounced back from that. Or I've had a child, or my child has done this or that, but we've managed. So for me, resilience is managing. But in that managing, not losing yourself, not killing yourself either. Because if you can't bounce back, tell somebody, I'm not bouncing back. This bouncing back is not working. Because you'll find that they're also not bouncing back. But in that not bouncing back, you find other ways. Just like we all came thinking that, for me, I thought by this time, I don't know how many, me and my sister used to pass, we used to live in a place called Kansang, and there were 2 nice houses. And me and my sister used to say, imagine when we got to the UK, in 3 years, we'll build about 5 of these houses. And every time my sister says, she keeps laughing and says, I haven't even built a hut, you know, since I left it. So, but we've done other things. Look at, so, because for us in SAWN, we have stone sarati, which is stones and roses. Yes, there are many stones, but then there are roses. If you haven't built that house, I've had 3 lovely children. If I haven't done, if the marriage hasn't worked, I have raised my children. If you haven't had children, you've helped your relatives. If you haven't helped your relatives, you've been a great uncle or a great auntie. There is always something to draw back from and say, you have done well. So for me, I want to hear back from everybody, and I want to open the discussion, the floor, for people who want to give us tips on how they've been resilient, or on things that they think they would not even overcome, but somehow have overcome. So thank you so much. I'm going to hand over to you, Julie, to moderate this bit. And how people think, you know, what do we need? So before I go as well, I am a Christian, and I know many African people are religious. There is something about questioning, you know, God, why am I here, and all that. But also, there's something that comes from drawing from energy that comes from God when you're going through a situation is excellent. There's a way God helps you when you're going through something. It's you and God. That's how I feel. For me, it's me and God.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. However, some people abuse it. Some people, when you need to be careful to have a balance. Some people will abuse it. And one of the most used statements which have been abused is, it is well. No, it is not well.
Not well.
Not well. Please, it is not well. If it is not well, say it is not well. So just don't go on, it is well, it is well. Yes, it is well. The Bible says it is well. But it is well when you're doing something about it. So thank you so much. And I hope we all join in. If you can unmute, I'll leave you, Judy, to facilitate. However, if you have any questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know about you. I've been taking notes. Lots and lots of notes. Can't even see them on this slide, but I don't know about you, but I've made several notes. I've created a 9-step process that I can use and can share with others on how to overcome. Maybe instead of saying the word resilient, as Rose said, it's overused and over bandied about. But how do you overcome? How do you stay strong until you get to the other side of a challenge? You know, because whatever happens, it too shall pass.
Amen.
So this cost of living crisis that has been created by, you know, people that we don't even know, but they've decided they want to hoard the resources. So it will pass. It will pass. And while we are going through what we're going through, it is important to know that to accept where you are. First of all, acceptance means you've hit rock bottom. The only way is up. And so have a plan A to Z. Believe in yourself. Do some research. Don't just go asking everybody and then saying, well, it's so-and-so who told me and so-and-so told. Take responsibility for your next step and for coming out of that situation. Nurture yourself and look after yourself, because you've only got one body and there's only one you. Everybody else is taken. So you better look after you. Be positive. It's another statement that people find hard to swallow when they are going through challenges, but it's that very same thing that gets you out of those challenges. Because I learned something from Tony Robbins, and in one of the coaching programs that I've done with him, and he said, what you focus on expands. What you focus your energy on expands. So if you focus on the problem, that problem becomes a multi-problem. If you focus on the solution, that solution will become multiple solutions and ways. And that's where God makes a way. And that's when you say it is well, because the way is being made for you. Stay away from negative people. I do not like negative people. I am with Rose there. If anybody brings negative energy to me, you're going to be blanked, like you won't even exist for me. That's it. Me and you, we're done. And what satisfies you? What makes you feel like you're alive? Cleave onto that and stand up with that. So I'm going to share with you a personal challenge. Very fresh in my mind, very fresh for me this year. at the beginning of this year, my heart was racing like it was busting out of my chest every day. Like I'd be sitting here doing absolutely nothing and my heart is racing like I have been running a marathon. At first I ignored it, which is what Rose said. Don't ignore the problem, it won't go away. Because I told myself, I exercise every day, whether it's winter or it's summer, I don't care. If it's not raining outside, I'll go take a walk or I'll do a walk from inside. I try to eat healthy, I try to sleep. But so I was telling myself I'm doing everything right, so this will go away. But it didn't go away. So that was prior to the beginning of this year. And then this year I was told that you could be hypertensive. You're a Black woman, and Black people have a propensity to have all kinds of congenital diseases, including hypertension, high blood pressure, metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance. While the woman listed a ton load of diseases, and in my mind, I was like, minus me, minus me, minus me. And then she said, so before we put you on medication, we're going to do a full blood work. And then we're going to put you on a 48-hour pressure monitor. Then you're going to have an ECG. I had 3 ECGs at the beginning of this year. And touch wood, thank God, ECGs came back normal, blood pressure a little bit elevated, but it wasn't in a position where I could not do something about it. And the first thing I asked the doctor was, are there some lifestyle changes I can make to actually get my body back to homeostasis? Normal, good, I don't like disease. And she goes, well, you could do this. And the thing she said to me, I was already, in my head, I was already doing. So I said, give me 2 months and I'll come back to you. My blood works came back normal, apart from a bit of elevated cholesterol, LDLs. I didn't even know what LDL meant other than I used to think all cholesterol is bad, but actually we have some good cholesterol in our bodies. And so long story short, my blood pressure in January was 160/110. Today, it is a normal 127/70. If I've gone for my exercise, it might go higher than that, but it's normal. My heart is normal. And all that was because I did what Rose has laid out for you. And I didn't even know that was the plan I was following. I accepted that I have a problem, get your head out of the sand and do something about it. I then went ahead to do something about it. From January, I was 80 kilograms. Today, I'm 59.6 kilograms. I've released 20 kilograms, never to come back. You can do something about something. So it's almost like a testimony, but I wanted to just share with you and let you know that you can do what you put your mind to doing. There are several things I've done. It would take forever to tell you what I've done to get my body back to a state of health. But the important thing is we can go through, we can grow through what we go through. And that's to me what resilience means. Growing through what we go through. Knowing that this that I'm going through, there's a reason that my maker is allowing me to go through it. Like Rose said, I am a believer too. And I keep remembering the story of Job kept coming back to me as people were sharing that God allowed Job to go through so much to show him that the enemy cannot have you. If you belong to me, the enemy cannot have you. Everything can be taken away from you. Most of us came here with just the suitcases we have. But now, most of us have something or two. So I want you to share with us. I'm going to invite who wants, raise your hand if you want to share how you go through what you go through. Biggest thing for me is I'm usually an action taker. I take action. But my secret source is God. I genuinely believe God has my back. I genuinely believe if I take time to be with my God every day, it does not matter what the environment throws at me. God has my back. So therefore, whatever I'm going through, there's a good thing behind it. So I believe that my challenges are my steps to my upgrade. Every challenge I go through, I believe there's an upgrade coming. Going through my health challenge has given me the body I've been dreaming about for the last 25 years. So we can get there. Someone else want to say something? I am excited to hear you. Okay, our project admin is saying, please give us feedback about today's session. Please don't forget to do that. And our facilitator's name is Mrs. Rose Ssali. So, and the name is in the chat again. So make a note of it for our feedback form. It's literally a multiple choice form. You literally can just tick the choices and that's it. Won't take even 2 minutes. And we'd like to hear from other people, guys. Let's hear from you. Maybe I'm not seeing the hands up. Anybody wants to share? Set up achievable goals, taking a little bite at a time. Yes. Like one of my first coaches asked us a question, and I'm sure many of you have heard it. How do you eat an elephant? Obviously, all of us, our minds went into all kinds of technical things. How do you eat an elephant? Catch it, chop it up. I don't know. Would you even eat an elephant? And he said the simple other answer is one forkful at a time. Taking a little bite at a time. A little bite of that challenge. Tomorrow it will have been smaller because you took something away from it. You know, if you take the strength from that challenge, you're then the boss of it. There's a saying in the Bible, I don't remember what verse, but it is that our maker, and I'm sure it's there in any book of guidance, whether it's the Quran, the Torah, it's there, that our God put every challenge and every problem under the sun beneath our feet. In other words, we are the boss of them. But we don't believe our power. We don't believe the energy, the strength we have. We were created in the image. We are created with the ability to co-create and to bring to birth new things. And so we keep thinking that every problem is a bad thing. But I know every single one of you who's a parent here was praying to be a parent. I don't know any single woman who prayed for that pain in the labor ward. I didn't, but I wanted to be a parent. So in order to be a parent, I had to go through that labor. It was bad. So don't think that every challenge and every problem is a problem. Some things are meant to get you to where you want to be. Rachel, please do go ahead. Someone. Rachel, you want to say something? Your hand is up.
Yes. I wanted to talk about Rose's point of always thinking about other accomplishments that we have. I think it's a very good point, which can be actually very hard, because sometimes when you're failing at something, you're only going to think about what you're failing about, and you're not going to think about other things that you have accomplished as a person. But it is a very, very positive thing to do, because that actually motivates you to do other things that you think that you're failing about. But it's also a hard thing to do. So, but I loved that point. I loved it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Absolutely. Look at the suffering as temporary, says Rachel, the other Rachel, as temporary and not permanent. Have a plan to get out of the situation. And that is, and there's nothing wrong with asking for help. I think that's something that was shared from the breakout rooms, that we Black people have this tendency to think we can't ask anybody for help. While it's important to do research, once you do your research, it's important to seek help. And in this country, there's so much help, guys. So much help.
And also, Julie, on the point of help, imagine if I need £50.
Right.
And I desperately need it, and I think you might have that £50. So if I tell you, you can only tell me two things. Oh, I'm sorry, Rose, I don't have it. And that will take me back exactly to the point where I was, isn't it?
Yes.
Or you can say, I'll even give you 100 after I've told you my problem or not. You might even give me more than I expected.
Yes.
So really, when you don't ask for help, you're not moving at all. And if you ask, so some people say, oh, no, I don't want to ask from African people. They talk a lot. Yeah, but for me, if you talk and you've given me £50, I have resolved my problem. I don't really care what you say,
exactly,
to be honest. Because you have used your kindness, whichever way it has come, to resolve an issue. So please, 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 don't die alone. Don't die in your own whatever. Ask for help. Many times the help is there. You just don't know where, or you don't know how to ask for the help.
Right. You're very right. I think it's a common saying as well. Some of these things sound like cliches, but Honestly, personally, I believe 100% that what somebody thinks about me is their business. Nothing to do with me. If you give it, like, so if you give me £50, whatever else you say after that, I don't care. It's not my problem. I'll thank you and continue to thank you. Whatever you say after that is not my problem. Langton has something to say. Please go ahead.
I've heard you guys what you are saying, and it's true. I always tell myself that greatness comes from humble beginning. My journey to here wasn't easy, no, but I am so glad I went through I went through those things, because they taught me some lessons, like Julie was saying, that I probably lacked in my life. We live in a world where probably people don't give much emphasis on preparation, because everything is on a click of a button. And we expect life to go like that. But life is not like that. Life is a challenge. Sometimes you need to tell yourself you are a warrior. You are a force to be reckoned with. So that those challenges, when they come, you are stronger. You need to fight sometimes. We're fighters, we're warriors. So problems might be there. We know even if you are given 10 million, 10 billion pounds, you'll still have problems. They'll still come your way. And in most cases, you realize that when one and affliction comes our way, we are too busy to complain and cry and looking, to want people to feel sorry for us. But on our own, like we're here right now, we're here. What do we do to help each other, and what do we do to help people who we live with? What's our society like as African Black people, if I may say? Do we have the zeal and the mind to help each other? Or do we have the mind to seek help? Do we have the mind to help each other, or the mind to seek help? Sometimes we are enough, We are.
So we have both.
Oh, yeah, we are enough. We are forced to be reckoned with.
That's why we are here.
Oh, yes, we are. So we need to be telling ourselves that. And by the way, there's a group for men that we started. So men who want help, who want to talk about these problems, from mental health, poverty, violence, we are here. You can see Mama Rose there, you can see Julie, or you can holler me. We talk about these things because we make a community. We make a community, and we should have the mentality and the mindset to lift each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Langton. I put the details in the chat for the gentlemen. For you ladies, please share that link with the men in your lives. This is a safe space for our men to speak, to share, to learn, to grow, and to become better men, in our lives. For our young men to find mentors. It's called Safe Square Sanctuary, SASA in short. And you can visit the website at safesquaresanctuary.org. The details are in the chat. Thank you, Langton. We're going to hear very briefly from Rachel from Crowley. We'll hear from Mary Alofe. Oh, your hand has gone down. And then we're going to hear from Francis Langley, each 1 minute, so that we can hear from everybody else. So please, Rachel, the other Rachel, or has she dropped off? Because your hand was up, or was it a residue of the one before? Rachel? I think she's out. So let's hear from Francis, because he's here and his hand is up. And then we'll circle back to Mary Alofe and Rachel Aren.
Okay. I think what people are looking for is solutions to problems, because I'm basically listening to everything everyone is saying, and one of the biggest problems we've got as Black people is we haven't got access to information. When I say we haven't got it, it's because at times we don't go looking for it, and because it's our pride, and because it's the way we've been brought up. Especially we're brought up in a society where they say boys don't cry. So if you got a problem, you got to deal with it yourself. So like the likes of us, we've got an organization called Citizen Outreach Coalition, We help people living in Merseyside with energy advice. And we go out and talk to people about gas and electricity. Before we actually started that project, I didn't know a project like that actually existed. So it's all about getting information. And I'm hoping after this, we will get information of where people can get help. Because it's pointless us being here when if you've got a problem, you cannot go and actually talk to someone about that problem. Citizen Outreach Coalition, Julie's one of our partners. If you've got any issues, please reach out to us. You know, I'm sick and tired of hearing another brother committing suicide or another brother dying because of stress and issues out there. Reach out to us. I mean, I class myself as being African. I don't class myself as coming from Sierra Leone. So everyone out there is my African brother or my African sister. That's the way I look at life. If we can help anyone, we're here to help. I mean, we're all the same. So I want to keep this really, really brief. If there's a problem out there, send it to Julie. Julie, send it to us. We can actually have a look at it. Some of us have got extreme knowledge about different kind of information out there, and we can access it. So it doesn't matter how silly or stupid it is. Your information or your request is never silly or stupid. All it is just you're looking for help. Don't suffer alone, like Julie said before. Do not suffer alone. That's why we're all here. Let's all suffer together.
I beg you, suffer alone, brother.
Let's suffer together. Your problem can become my problem.
Each other out of the problem together.
That's what it is.
Yes. So thank you so much. Thank you, Francis. Absolutely. For all of you here, I think you've heard what he said. If you're based in Merseyside and you're struggling with your energy bills, please reach out to us. Reach out to Rachel Barbara. Give her your details, and we might have a solution. Well, at least we'll talk about what you can do to alleviate your situation so that you are not going through this. It's freezing, you know, this freezing winter. We don't really want people going through the freeze that we went through last year. And thank you, Langton, for sharing with us Safe Square Sanctuary. Also, you can check out our facilitators' amazing digital assets and home at SAWN.org.uk, where if you know someone in Greater Manchester, please signpost them to that resource, especially if they are a woman, a Black woman. And, let us support each other and grow through what we go through. So there's something I want to share with you that I wanted to say, and I've also put it inside the chat, and it's affirmations. Affirmations are positive self-talk. You know, like, you watch it in movies and somebody's looking in the mirror and they're saying you're gorgeous, you're amazing, I could marry you, and things like that. But when you're going through a challenge, sometimes it feels super fake saying something like that to yourself. But guess what? I did say that to myself in January this year. I said, I am healthy, I am fit, I am a fit 59-kilogram woman. I feel healthy, my heart is healthy. I said that to myself every morning, and my heart was like pumping out of my chest, and I thought I'm just gonna die and leave my children. And then I'll tell myself, shut up, I'm talking, I am healthy, I am alive, I am well. And then that would drown out the negative Nelly who's in there trying to pop out, because we are two different characters, all of us. The one who's and the one who's let's go. You have to balance them out and make sure the one who's yes, let's go is winning most of the time. Please send us your email. Give your email to Rachel Barbara. Drop it off in the chat below. If you want us to serve you further, at the beginning I did talk about the programs that we are offering. We have SIM cards that are free. You don't have to buy them. You don't have to add data every day. They are free data for 6 months. Free 20 gigs, minutes, text, all that. And we are not the Home Office. Neither are we the police. So we don't ask for all kinds of things from you. Just your name, your address, and are you happy for us to tell our funders that, this amazing person has received this from us? If you're not, again, data protection, GDPR, European Union, Brexit didn't work. We still have to report about that. So if you say, no, I don't want my details on your database, Well, when we have other goodies, then we wouldn't even be able to reach out to you, but that's okay. So please do go ahead and leave your email with Rachel. You can give it to her privately in the chat. There's a way to do that. And we are perfectly in time. Francis, you want to say something else, or is your hand stayed up?
I'm just a bit shocked because I've never heard about this data and stuff that you're giving now. What happened to me knowing about this, Julie?
We are women and digital inclusion. That's what we do. Women and digital inclusion. That's one of our basic programs. Data. Let me just get and show you what it looks like. It's right here. So that you know you're not going to have to write a letter about it. So this is what they look like. 20 gigs of data, unlimited calls and everything. Has a number at the back. Obviously, that will become your new number.
Wow.
And that's Vodafone. And then we have the same with O2, 20 gigs of data, plus £15 worth of unlimited calls, texts, and all that.
Is that for 6 months?
This is O2, and then there's Vodafone. And they are valid for 6 months. And thereafter, if you need to renew for another 6 months, you let us know. It's all about, because they don't assume that you won't be in a position to purchase your data after 6 months. Things could have got better, you know. The important thing is we're not going to follow you around every six months. It's up to you to come back and say, you know what, you know, next month my 6 months run out and things have gotten worse or things have gotten better. Thank you. Either way, it's up to you. If you need these, let us know. Okay. So,
fantastic.
Yeah, data. We always have. There are lots here and they are all activated. You put it in the phone and you're off to the races. So we won't post them out to you. You have to pick it up yourself because someone asked me, can you please post it to me? The answer is nah. I want to see you. I want to hug you. I want to give it to you man to man. So if there's nobody else who wants to share either, this is sounding like we're in charge. There you go, Rachel, please go ahead.
Julia, I just wanted to find out from that program, does that program come with laptops and computers?
Not this year. Last year we did. This year we focused on phones, like basically getting people connected. Last year we got people gadgets, but they were not connected. Now this year we focused on connecting people because once you have your data on your phone, you can connect your other gadgets to that. It becomes your hotspot. So
I'm just telling you because I also work for a community organization that this should come with a computer or laptop.
Ooh, you have some to offer to Wodin?
We got them for our families.
Oh.
Yeah, so it does come as a gadget, a laptop, or it can be a desktop, and then the data. So maybe you can find out about that.
At the time that the Liverpool Council was offering the funding for desktops, laptops, and they were even offering tablets. They were offering them to organizations that had a space where people can come and actually use those. So for Liverpool is unique. Don't ask me how they are, but they are unique. So they were not encouraging us to give gadgets to people.
Okay.
They wanted us to have the gadgets in a place where people could come.
Yeah.
And where Wodin works, we want to empower someone completely, that they can take this gadget home and use it for whatever they want to use it for. So
I think it's a government project.
It is.
That's everywhere in the country. Yeah, but it should come with the.
But now we're going to follow up for 2024. I think it's still available because we now we're gonna have the space in January. Yeah. So you know we can have a few of them where people can actually come in and do practice, learn, do searches if they want to fill out forms, things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Rachel. Mary Alofe, you wanted to say something, or was it accidental? I keep coming back to you. No? Yes? Okay, so please, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to, I don't like to say what I don't want to happen. Do please remember to fill out our feedback form, where we can always understand your needs better, understand where we have exceeded your expectations, and understand where we may have fallen short. Either way, we like to hear that feedback so that we can serve you better, wider, longer. And with that said, please go crazy on your emojis and just show our appreciation to Mrs. Ssali for for holding this space for us, for enabling us to share together, for allowing us to be open with each other. Go on your reaction and just show her some love, and throw your heart on if you're live. I think some of you are just on here, but you're not on here. I see you. Yes, thank you, Abiola. And just thank you so much, Rose, for taking the time. I don't know if you might slap me today for saying this, but she did say it herself. Rose had an operation on Monday.
Oh, wow.
And she's here today.
Yeah, and Julie, it's double breast surgery, not just one.
So there you go. I didn't even say what operation she had. She's told you, ladies.
But this is how I feed my resilience. I'm overjoyed being here. Overjoyed. So I would rather be here. I've had enough rest, but I'd rather be here working with you, just hearing people's views and hopefully helping just one person.
Yes. And that is the spirit, that if even just one person goes away feeling like, I was feeling down, I've been lifted up, I feel better, I feel like I can get through this, I know I am a winner, we have done our job. And that brings me to our next session. Our next session is all about our mental health. And we're going to bring two amazing mental health practitioners to hold that space for us and share with us how we can support our family's mental health. And so it's not just as a person yourself, but because we support women, and women are the nurturers of this world. So how do we support those near and close to us in our homes, or not even in our home, away in wherever we came from? They throw all their baggage at us. How do we hold that space for them? How do we support our mental health and that of our loved ones? That's on the 5th of December. Please come in as many large numbers as you've come today. Invite everybody you know to join us so that we can support you to go through this season. And then the next one will be on the 14th of December. And then we're off for Christmas. Then we'll meet again in January. Now, for every one of you who's based in Merseyside, who has attended this session, please give your name to Rachel Barbara N. You can see her name right on here. Her icon is a purple with a white R in it. Give her your name, your telephone number, and your email, because you will receive a surprise coming to you one of these very good days. It might not even be this year, but it will happen. That is our promise to you.
Julie, how fair is that? What about people from Colchester and Oldham?
People from Colchester.
people, Langton, where are you? Say something, Karen.
We are sending you so much love.
I was about to say that it's a bit biased.
People from Colchester, people from Oldham, people from wherever. Let's fight.
People from Oldham.
Julie. Julie, we are watching you very closely. We are watching you. I'm watching you, Julie. Don't forget.
I know.
But definitely, we hope one day Wodin will be like global. Why not even UK, like global? You know, for now, we're still a baby. Like Rose said, she has watched Wodin grow. We are not yet 3 years old. So we are still a toddler.
But you're a toddler who's doing wonders.
So
and going.
Definitely. We have iPhone S. Please say something.
That's me.
Rosemary. Oh, yeah, Rosemary. I didn't see your face. Yes, please.
No, I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody. I missed the first bit. As you know my story, I was doing the school run, and I'm trying to prepare meal for my grandkids and still listen to what is going on. I think I've tried my best and I've managed it okay. I can just say that. I just say that I've learned so much today, and thanks to everybody. I've done my review, but I still want to orally, publicly say thank you. Francis, this men's group is so valuable to me because somebody rang me and they wanted advice, a man. So I will be giving him this information tonight. So thank you. I'm very appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for always holding space. Rosemary is one of our leaders, amazing volunteer, educator, mama, auntie, friend, sister. She's also she's my boss. And
she makes the most beautiful sauces ever.
Oh my God.
Don't forget that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we really truly appreciate you. Thank you for holding space for our communities here in Merseyside. And someone was saying something. Hang on. Okay. So if you drop your email in the chat or your number, give it privately to Rachel so it doesn't show up in the general chat, we will definitely reach out to you regarding our surprise. It's a surprise, so don't ask what it is. So thank you so much, Rose, Rosemary, Rose, thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of your recuperation to pour into us, to share with us your wisdom, and to help us bring out the wisdom we know from out of ourselves so we can actually have a bigger, greater resource that we can share with our communities. We appreciate it so much. Please reach out to Rose if you are somebody who knows somebody in Greater Manchester, especially in Oldham. If they're a Black family, especially if they're a woman, reach out to Rose or reach out to Karen. I think Karen is still here, and connect them to Support and Action for Women's Network. They are our sister organization in Oldham, in Greater Manchester, and they are doing amazing, amazing work for the Black community and people of color in that area. So thank you so much. We appreciate you. And if you have no questions, that means she has done an amazing job. And for me, I believe she's done an amazing job. And if there's nothing else to be added, please do fill out our feedback form. And I wish you a beautiful rest of your evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. See you again on the 5th of December. And absolutely, let's grow through this cost of living crisis. We can become better, we can thrive, we can do great things together. And if we can't do great things, let's do small things in a great way. Okay.
And invite somebody else.
Yeah, invite somebody else from
Colchester.
Oh yeah, please give me your details. Drop them in the chat, Rachel.
Yeah, I'll get in touch with you on the website. Yeah.
Share your website in the chat. We'll share it with everybody else on our forums. We've got, I think, 4 forums on our WhatsApp group. We can share them. And if anybody else knows somebody in Colchester, definitely, they'll reach out to you as well. Someone from last week wanted to know about housing in Bradford. I have a contact in Bradford, but I can't quite place the person who asked for help in that area. Please don't ask me. I'm in that age where I may forget. My brain is a sieve, but don't worry. If you're here, please give me your details again, because I connected to somebody and then they said, give me their details. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know where I put them. So if you were on last time and you were asking about housing in Bradford, we've got information for you. Thank you, Rose. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.